What's up everyone? Welcome or welcome back to the Marketing Nomad YouTube channel. I am the Marketing Nomad. So I got a really nice comment from a very nice subscriber. They said that, they've been following my content for quite some time now, and they found my content really good. But they were wondering, where do I get my energy from or my determination to keep going, maybe despite less views or less number of subscribers. And I thought that that was actually a very interesting topic to talk about, to share my own thought process behind the way that I show up for even my life as well. This is not just for my business, but even as an extension for my life as well. And there are many reasons, but I wanted to talk about three main reasons for this video. Right? So let's get into it. So my first reason is my sense of purpose is very strong. All right, it is rock solid, if I would say. I think that even from a very young age, there's always been this need in me to help others, or in the best way that I knew how, or to help people feel understood, feel seen. And that even translated when I became an entrepreneur. There is, of course, reasons why I do this for myself. There are personal reasons why I started my own business, to give me that flexibility to have a career that aligned with my passion and my own personal goals from the future that I see for myself, so on and so forth. Yes, there are personal reasons to that. However, alongside that, I do have a sense of purpose that extends beyond me. I do feel that it is my sole mission in this lifetime for me to help others feel understood, feel seen, or help them in a way that I know best, or in a way that my life experiences have led me to be this version of myself today, and how I can transmute that experience, that knowledge, that exposure as well to other people, or to my collective, to people who resonate with my energy. All right, so my sense of purpose is extremely strong at this point. And I think that when you are an entrepreneur, yes, you will always have your own reasons to do what you are doing, but there needs to be a purpose beyond you. There needs to be a why beyond you. And the reason for that is this journey is difficult. It's painfully difficult at some points as well. You will be facing more lows than highs, and whatever overnight success that you do see, it took a long time of extreme hard work, extreme hardship as well, to get to that one night of overnight success. You don't really see the behind the scenes of what's going on. What you see is that one moment of viral, but you don't know the years, and it's always years and years of effort and hard work that's put in behind the scenes. It could not even be, related to the channel or whatever they do put out. It could be even honing their skills in other aspects of their life through other life experiences that somehow tie in with that overnight success that sometimes you do see. But there's always a path to that point. All right, and so when you have a sense of purpose that is beyond you, all right, it helps you to keep going during these moments where it gets very challenging, or you feel like things are working against you. And so the more strong you are with your sense of purpose that is beyond you, that is outside of you, I feel, and I've seen this as well as proof in many entrepreneurs that I have met or I have spoken to, I've had the privilege to sit down and have deep conversations with. The more deeper, or the more stronger your sense of purpose is, that energy by itself helps you move, or helps to continue giving you the energy to move even when you feel things are working against you. So that is one thing that I highly recommend. Like, yes, you will have your own reasons why you're doing what you're doing, but having a sense of purpose beyond you, all right, that will keep you going during the difficult times. That's the most important part, actually, of the entire journey. Entrepreneurship is who you are, and entrepreneurship, the very definition of it, is something that is beyond, creating something that is beyond yourself for the society, for other people. That is the very purpose of entrepreneurship. The more me-centric you are, I guess, the more difficult it becomes for you to keep that momentum and that energy going. All right, so that's the first reason. The second reason is that I think what other people or society defines as success may not necessarily what success actually means to you, which means sometimes you've got to redefine it to yourself. For people out there, maybe success is in terms of the number of views or number of subscribers, so they can't seem to understand why one keeps going despite low views or low subscribers. But you have to understand it at my point of view as well. For me, those are not metrics of my success. My metrics of success are very different. Those actually, the more I hit those metrics, the more it gives me the motivation to keep going. And let's talk a little bit about what those metrics are for me. For me, it's about the connections that I built. All right. I have met so many people through my podcast and my YouTube channel specifically. I have met them. They align so well with my energy. I genuinely feel their care and their concern for my journey. Even a few of them have become my best friends. They check in with me every couple of months. We even, hop on calls. We're there for each other. And I know that if I am struggling with any aspect of my life, I can just reach out to them and talk about what I am going through. And I know that they will be there for me. Those kinds of connections, those kinds of relationships that I have built through authentically showing up, through being myself on my YouTube and my podcast, those are priceless to me. Absolutely priceless to me. Second, my sense of purpose. It ties in with that. Through my channel, through the content I create, I help people feel seen, feel understood, feel like, that sometimes I think that people tend to feel like they're very alone in what they're going through. Many of the topics that I talk about on my YouTube channel or on my podcast, because I do post the same content on both, I do feel that by sharing my experience, by sharing what I have been through, my thought processes, even the mistakes, what people perceive to be mistakes, but that's actually part of the the journey, right? Or my process. Maybe it took me so many tries to get to one point, or even, the blocks on the way, the delays on the way, even just sharing all of that. I feel it has helped people feel more seen. And even the comment that came through, they did tell me that the content was good. I've had many comments telling me that people resonate so deeply with what I say. That by itself is a success for me. It means so much to me. That is what matters to me. I think that at one point it did matter, like the subscriber count and the views. And I was only focused on that just because I think that society or other people, they have this tendency of pointing to one thing that they feel matters and keep pointing and say, this is important, focus on this, this is what determines your worth or your value or your success. I think that they have a tendency to do that. And if we are not careful, and it's not just with business, it's with other aspects of your life as well, take a second and look back at even your personal relationships, how you show up in your life, business, career, so on and so forth. In every single aspect, you will have that pressure subconsciously on you. It is out there, all right? But it is on to us, I feel, to pause at that moment and actually think, does that matter to me? Because it's very easy to get sucked into that urgency, that energy of chaos. So it's up to us to either pause or take a step back and say, well, is that important to me? Is what they define to be success, does that align with what I think success means to me, or what I want success to be for me as well? So whether it is a particular milestone that you hit in your career, or maybe in your personal life as well, certain milestones that you hit or don't hit, I think that there is already a preconceived notion of what success means, but that's on to you either to align with that or to define it on your own. And that's how I've shown up for my personal life as well. It's not just for my business. And like getting back to what I talked about, at one point there was like, oh, okay, this heavy focus on subscribers and views, and the kind of content that I was putting out was getting views and was getting the subscriber count. However, it was straying away from my sense of purpose, and that was bringing that frustration within me. And that's when I had to make a conscious decision. What is important to me? Straying away from my sense of purpose, or aligning with what other people want me to be. Why am I listening to what is important to other people? This by itself is so important to me. Another metric that is important to me is the amount of experience and exposure that I have gained through this channel. If you take a look at the 500 odd videos that I have posted, you will find a lot of variety in them. That's so many different types of videos that I have done deep dive research into, created, learned from my mistakes, figured out tips and tricks. Those are also different industries that I have been able to help with respect to being a marketing strategy consultant. That experience, that exposure is priceless for me. You see subscriber, you see view. However, on my end, I see my growth in able to help people with respect to strategy consulting, and that is also one more way that I perceive my growth and success to be. In terms of my personal growth as well, growing this channel, understanding different aspects of it, understanding who I am as a person, growing with the channel as well. It's brought a lot of awareness about me, about myself, and I've, through this channel, taken a lot of time to understand myself. I feel that to be a success as well. So that to me is a metric. That to me is a very, very important metric. Am I growing through this channel? Am I growing as a person, or it's actually both, as a marketing strategy consultant? Am I growing? Yes, I am. That to me is a massive amount of success. And one more thing is, my clients may or may not subscribe to my channel, but they do view the content. They do view it, and that does position me as someone who has been consistent, someone who has been trying out different things, understanding different industries, understanding different ways of showing up. And in a lot of ways, it's actually cemented their trust in me as well. So that, again, is priceless as well. It's not something that can be accounted for in terms of your subscriber view or your view count on videos. Right? So that's also a very important thought process. Like, what is the metric that's important to you? That is what you need to define as your success, or what you define as the reason for you to keep going. All right. And for me, I feel that the moment I don't, the moment I stop feeling that success in the metrics that are important to me, I will stop. It's as simple as that. All right. So until I feel that the metrics that I have chosen, and I'm feeling success in that, I'm feeling that, yes, they are growing. Those metrics are actually showing me the value of me showing up here. Until that is there, I will keep going, and it has kept showing me that, yes, you're on point, you're on the path, you keep going. The metrics have improved over the years for me, so that is why I keep showing up. All right, so it's important for, I think, one, to take a step back from what society deems to be, oh, this is the metric for success, this means you are successful. No, oftentimes what is defined as success for you to keep you going, it's going to be very, very different from the urgency that you sense outside of your spectrum. And that's people on the outside. You know your journey. You are supposed to be the one to set your own metric, because it's your life at the end of it. It is very, very much yours. And this happens in every area of life, not just with your YouTube. Every single area, there will always be someone or the other trying to force you into their metric system. That's their metric system. Allow them to be. No judgment over there, but you get to have your metric system. All right. So that is the second point that I wanted to talk about. What is the metric that's important to you? What is the metric that will keep that momentum going within you when you hit it. For me, it's all of these behind the scenes. At one point, yes, it was subscriber and view count, but today, really, I genuinely feel it. It's not. It really is not. I will keep continuing as long as my personal metrics are hit. The moment they don't, yeah, then I will not. It's as simple as that. Whatever it is, whichever area of my life it is, that is my rule for myself. Right? So at this point in time, yes, it is hitting. Yes, it aligns very, very well with the metrics that I have set for myself. I will keep showing up. All right? Okay. And then the third thing that I wanted to talk about was about delays. I think that there has been a pattern in my life that I have observed that every time I have put in the energy, all right, and I've put in the hard work and it feels right to me, okay, because hard work in a misaligned direction is also misalignment. However, there's that particular energy. I didn't know how to express this at one point in time, but I knew this concept, all right? But today I'm able to express it a little bit better. Again, it's because of how many times I've been trying to express it through the 500 videos. Many times I do pick up this conversation, I do pick up the topics. So I've grown as well in terms of how I articulate my thoughts, and I will continue to grow as well. And many times, we're going back to the previous metric, but there's been so much growth in me in terms of understanding my own thought process and learning how to present it to other people as well. So that has been growth on my end. You don't see it. You might not even recognize it, but I know how I've been growing as a person behind the scenes, and that by itself is priceless to me. I would not have been able to learn it in this speed if it had just been without this YouTube channel and I just go about my day. Definitely not. This has expedited that process for me by leaps and bounds. All right. So yeah, that's about the metric thing. Okay. So now coming back to the third point that I have for you. One pattern that I've observed in my life is every time I have felt that, yes, I'm working towards something I intuitively feel is my end point, and I know I'm meant to achieve it in this lifetime. I feel it within me, and I've been putting in the sincere hard work towards it, and I feel that alignment, but somehow there has been delays, or somehow it has just not come to me just yet, but I feel that I'm meant to be on that path. Yeah, oftentimes the blessing has been so big. It has been so big. And I recognize today that delays, especially when you are in alignment and you feel that alignment within you, yeah, it's a sign that the blessing coming is big. And it's a sign because you are meant to grow into a version of you to handle that blessing, to continue to hold on to that blessing. So that's what I believe in. That's also one more thing that keeps me going, because yes, I do understand that there has been a delay with respect to that. But one thing that I've understood from my life is delays are actually a sign that the blessing is big. It's kind of like you need to be that version of yourself to accept the big blessing. And oftentimes, one more thing that I've understood is the blessing that's come in, I asked for one thing, and oftentimes it's become so much more than like beyond what I could imagine. All right. And I needed to go through that delay, that time gap, in order to become that version of myself that could accept and handle the blessing that was beyond what I could imagine. And this has happened multiple times in my life, so much so that I blindly trust that I am becoming a version of myself in order to handle the blessing, because I think that what is meant for you will come to you. All right, the subscriber count, the view count, the money, whatever is meant for you, no one can take it away from you. Nothing. There might be delays because you need to step into that version of yourself to receive it, but as long as you feel that alignment within yourself, as long as you feel like, yes, I'm on the right path, I feel like I am on the aligned path, it will come to you. It will never escape you. In fact, I feel that the blessing is so much bigger because it's kind of the universe telling, hey, I understand that you have this dream in your mind, all right? However, there's so much more that you are meant for. So take a little bit more time so that you can tap into that bigger blessing rather than what your mind has perceived. Because believe it or not, our mind can only perceive a very, very tiny fraction of what could actually happen for our lives, how our lives could actually turn out. And so that also by itself gives me a lot of motivation. It keeps me going because I know what's meant for me will not escape me. I just have to keep showing up for my soul mission, my soul purpose. I need to keep staying true to myself. I need to keep recognizing what is alignment, what is not. That is my only job. Putting in hard work towards what is alignment and continue being on that path. That's pretty much it. Put my head down and show up. Do what my soul was meant to do in this lifetime. What is meant for me? Everything. Money, fame, subscriber count, view count. If it is meant for me in this lifetime, it will come. It cannot go anywhere. It is meant for me. You can't fight fate. All right? If it's not meant for me, and I was just meant to put my head down and tap into my soul purpose and go on that path, find that fulfillment without all of these external, that also works for me as well. All right. I also think that that level of detachment is necessary. It actually brings you a lot of peace. It helps you feel more centered in your life, because I feel like oftentimes we're always waiting for a metric to hit, or we're always waiting for something external to happen. However, when you have that detachment, that's also the law of manifestation as well, right? That detachment. So for me, I think I've reached that level at this point in time where as long as I'm feeling fulfilled on this path that I'm on, that's all that matters to me. And the money has come, all right? Every time I felt like, and I like knock on wood, every time I felt like like I would not be able to continue because of maybe lack of money, somehow or the other, it's come to me, all right? Like knock on wood. And that's also given me this very big signal that I'm meant to be on this path as well. And that's where I trust it will come. It will come. If it's meant for me, it will come. No one can take it away from me, and I cannot escape it as well. Even if I want to come run away from it, it will catch up to me. You can't fight fate, all right? So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was that delays are actually, especially when you are in alignment and you feel that alignment, you feel that in your core of you, that dream it's achievable. There's no coincidence as to why you feel that within you as well. We'll talk about that in another episode, but I do feel that. So delays, especially when you are in alignment, it is a sign that the blessing coming is going to be big, and it's happened multiple times in my life. And second, what you need will be given to you at the aligned time. It will just come through. And what is meant for you also will come through when you are ready to receive it and to handle that blessing. And I think that by itself is protection, because I have seen people receiving the blessing and then squandering it off. So the fact that the universe is telling me that, hey, we want you to become a version of yourself that can handle the blessing, that can hold on to it, I think that means I'm protected, right? I think that means there's something that's waiting for me to get to that point, so that I will not mess it up at that point, or I will not let it go. I will be able to appreciate it, to hang on to it as well, right? So that's what I feel. That's my thought process. If you want to go on, like, doesn't it matter to you? Doesn't, but I also think that there are certain aspects, like, yes, the money does matter. At the end of the day, I am running a business. But it's come. Every time I've needed it, it's come through. Every time I've questioned whether I should keep going, I've always gotten a sign that, yes, you're meant to keep going. And that sign comes in different forms. And I've learned to accept that. I've learned to trust. And for me, I think my only job is to stay aligned to my soul's purpose and to continue down that path. That's pretty much it. Everything else is taken care of for me. At least this is how I feel. I feel that about myself, and I really wish that you also feel that way for yourself as well. You are protected. What's meant for you, you're sincere, you're in the alignment, you feel that alignment, and you're on that path, it will come. It will not go anywhere. If you want to think of it as manifestation, think of it as manifestation. But for me, I think of it as that energy that you put out, it has to come back to you in some shape or form. It will come back to you. All right, so that's also one more thing that keeps me going. I'm sincere in my effort. I put out my energy. I'm putting out my energy. In some shape or form, it will come back to me. Maybe not through metrics like you think it is, like subscriber count or views, but it's come back to me in relationships. It's come back to me in personal growth. It's come back to me in other aspects of my life or other aspects of my business. I was able to set up a whole vertical of my business in the past 1.5 years, and within a matter of 1 or 2 months, that became a full-fledged business. I would never have been able to do it. Like I said, I had to grow into that version of me as well. So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that I see that energy coming back to me. And I also feel that I also need to become a version of myself in order to tap into that, to access that. And I'm becoming that person. So that's okay too. Yes, we ran out of battery, but this brings me to the end of this entire video. I hope that this video gave you a starting point to look at areas of your life where you feel like maybe you've been too sucked into what other people perceive to be success, and start creating your own metrics for what you determine to be success, for what you need to keep going as well. So that's also important. I also hope that this helps you understand that there needs to be a sense of purpose beyond you, especially when you are thinking about entrepreneurship or you are wanting to take this route as a digital creator as well. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is how you perceive delays. That's also very, very important. Maybe we'll do a separate episode about delays, because I feel like there's definitely been huge chunks of my life where I've experienced delays, and it took me a lot to come into this mindset. It didn't happen overnight. There was a lot of frustration. There was in other areas of my life as well. So a lot of frustration, and this lesson has come to me through actually a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos that sometimes even I caused for myself as well. So we'll talk about it in another episode. I think I will take some time to talk only about delays and how to show up, or how you can have a relationship with delays, a healthy relationship with delays as well. All right, so I hope that this video gave you a starting point to see what works for you, to maybe shift your thought process in a way that brings you peace. At the end of the day, that's all that matters, which thought process brings you the most peace. That's how you'll know it's alignment for you. What works for someone else may not work for you, and that's okay too. What works for you may not make sense to someone else, and that's okay too. All right, so that's also one more thing that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my answer right there. Those are 3 main reasons out of, I think there are multiple reasons. If I sit down and think about it, yes, there will be plenty, and I'll probably take a long time to go through it, but primarily these are my 3 reasons, or this is my thought process behind why I keep showing up. All right, so I really hope that this helped you in some way, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye-bye.